one show on YouTube. It is always our desire to tell and to inspire. And today all the way, hey, nitawambia ni wapi in the course of the video. And today I have an amazing guest. Atakuwa anatupigia story hapa about her journey through na sasa. Without even much ado, I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Hello, my viewers and my listeners. I'm Sarah. Sarah is a pastor. Sarah is a teacher. Sarah is a mentor and a mother to many spiritually. And as my sister is talking to us today, we want us to walk along a journey that has been all about God. I will just generally say that storms comes in life, but the Lord gives us the grace to be able to overcome the storms. Storms are packages of progress, and really, at times we fear the storms, but they are there to make us grow, they are there to refine us, and they are there to make us the best of all. Yeah.
Wow, still, you can feel the anointing in here, but already, hey. So please, I'll you take us through the story. Where did it begin? Exactly, who is Sarah?
Okay, Sarah has been a girl in the village, born like other children. I grew like other children, but in the process of time, it reached to a point when I remember back in 2003, when the things turned around and things were not good. One of the girls that has been that has grown in a very good background, but within a short period of time, that is 2003, when I was in a tender age, things started happening and there was a darkness in my life. This is whereby now I can just say that I'm a victim of fire furnace, whereby now our daddy, my biological father, if I have to mention, came home at night and there was some chaos with mommy. Then in the process, there was fire in our house. It was in the midnight of, it was in the midst of night whereby there was fire and all we could see or what wake us up was the inhaling of the smoke. Coming outside and waking up from the midst of fire, there were people outside screaming, and that's how we lost everything and life started again. That's where the challenge now we got from. That's where now the challenge started. Having grown very well, being taken care of 2 parents, but now in the midst of it all, things turned around. But who is like God? It was in the midst of it all that God knew He will carry us forward, He will go with us, and things worked for good. Yeah.
And now after this fire, you've said that there was a turnaround. What exactly happened after that?
Okay, after that, in the midst of the night, after there was fire, the villagers who were around our houses and the good neighbors, they saw smoke and fire in our house, and they came running to aid us and to try to save things from our house. Unfortunately, nothing was saved from the house, and it was from here now we could not see our father. Mommy was there, depressed, and there was things that you could not even imagine. Unexplainable things happened that time. I remember, okay, in our family, I'm the 5th born. I remember my other elder brother and sisters were back in school. They were in boarding school. But me and my elder sister, who is late, was with us in the house when the house was burning. So then it was from there when the neighbors tried to switch off, to put out the fire. But unfortunately, nothing was saved apart from our lives. So I just say I'm just a testimony by how God came through. People got into the house, they saved our life, and we were out from the fire. Then from there, the police came. It was a police case. My father was a criminal that was wanted because he wanted to commit murder. So in the process, I remember the case was taken to court and things were followed, but my father was nowhere to be seen. Then from there, we had to go and look for somewhere to, for someone to accommodate us, which was not easy because the neighbors that were around could not accommodate us in the fear of, where is our daddy? And they feared that maybe daddy would come and burn their house. Then it is not simple to say that in my neighboring place, we had no that close relative because mommy comes from a Kampala and daddy had no uncles around or brothers around, so no one was there to save us. So we had just to fall under the hands of the government who saved our life. Then by good luck, there was a house whereby now we rented from the original home that was now burnt by my daddy. So we went to an original home where now we started from the scratches. But God is faithful. Yeah.
Okay, now apart now from these fire incidents, was there anything else now that was still pulling you down? How did you rise up now again from there?
Okay, that's a good question to give the story well, because after now the burning, we started again afresh. We had no clothes, we had no food, we had nowhere to sleep. We saved nothing, in fact, from the house. And now when we went back now to our new house where there is nothing now, this time around is a rental house, and mommy is depressed. Mommy could not do anything for herself. And then the town that we live, there is a lot of drunkenness, there is a lot of immorality, there are no good morals. But we strain to get something to eat. We strain a lot to get someone to give us love, someone who would recognize us. And in the process, I would just say or tell somebody there outside that I became a street child, because we would go to Omba so that we can get something to eat. This is where now life became hard, because mommy is not there to be seen, daddy is away. My brothers and sisters who are away in school now, they have come home and they have found their house has burned. And now it was now kila mtu for himself, and now we had to look for our own life. Tungepitia huko kwa mtaa and we would beg people to give us 10 bob to buy something to eat, and it was not easy. A person who has been taking good food, the Cerelac, the Weetabix and what have you, now turning again to beg something to eat, it wasn't easy. And it was from there now life continued becoming harder and more harder. We strive a lot, begging people who are working from the quarry to give us 10 bob to buy mandazi, give us 10 bob to buy food. And at times we would go begging people and they would not give you anything. We would go through the street where the dustbin was thrown, and we would try to peep in and get something to eat for the day, because we had no otherwise. Yeah, so even going to school was not easy, because now we don't have the uniform, we don't have someone to take us home. Mommy is like now so much depressed to a point of she don't know where to begin. She has been a good woman, a woman who was in business, and nothing is working now. She would sell everything so that he can give us something to eat. And starting again from scratch is buying the beds, buying the kitchen utensils. It wasn't easy for mommy, but I thank God that she's there today. She's a mama I loved so much. Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay, on the same process as I answer your question, okay, we continued and it wasn't easy. So from the street now, here we got some friends who came and people who would see and sympathize with us. This is whereby now we went back to school again. And when we were taken back to school, it wasn't also easy. People were there to support us to continue with education. But bear in mind, whereby you're going to school, you don't have lunch, you don't have breakfast, you don't have even food for the night. We strived a lot for school to be in school. And I thank God, because there was favor that God had released for me. I remember one lady by name Rona Njeru. She was my teacher when I was in grade 2. She really loved me so much, and she accepted the challenge that I'm just a street girl, I'm just a girl who is not needed by anybody, and there was rejection all over. No one wanted to be associated with me. She really took good care of me. She would share lunch with me. She would share whatever she has carried, whatever was for her child. She would bring it to me, and she really motivated me and made my self-esteem to go higher. In the process, when I was now in class 7 and class 8, things were not good. Why do I say things were not good? This is where by now you could not get anyone who will tell you what you're doing, Sarah, is bad, or what you're doing is good. No one to give you the morals, no one to love you. So you're there to just earn your own living, to make sure you're in school. Sometimes we would go for vibarua, and mommy would come and take the money from us, and we were caned, and there is no school for us. But in the process, even how I made it through, I don't know. I really don't know. But I've seen God through. I've seen God through.
It was, you see, where you have said about going to school, other siblings, did they even continue going to school, or now there were those that specifically continued with school?
Okay, me and my late sister, the sister that I follow or that I comes after. Okay, we were to continue with the school, and I've said that it was by the support of Lona, a mama I love so much. She really supported us to go to school. Then I have 4 siblings that are down ones that follows me, that is. And me and my late sister, we went back to school, whereby now when my sister reached class 8, she did not really performed well, so she dropped out of the school. Then I was left in school, and my little sisters. But to me, I just measured with my own life, because now here it was you, and now I would get support from other people that made me, okay, God gave me wisdom somehow, and I was able to perform well in school. Then I was talented in some skills, and these made my gifting made doors to open for me, and that's how I managed to go to school. Okay, all of us, we were to school, but with a lot of challenges. My sister would go to school and they were sent home for money, but anytime I would be mentioned to go home for money, Lorna would intervene, and she would like, no, my daughter, you're not going home, come back to school. Or I would go home and stay home for some weeks and what a few, and the teachers would see like Sarah is missing in school, and I was called back to school. So in one way or the other, I would say the gifting, all the talents and the skills that God had given me and the wisdom made me to sustain in education, and that's how I made it in school. Yeah.
All this time, both parents now are there.
All this time, that is from 2003 when Daddy burnt their house. He got lost for like 4 years, because I saw him back in 2007, and this is when I was sitting for my KCPE. He came back home and did not talk to anybody. This is whereby now Daddy came. Then in the morning, as we were waking up, going to when I was waking up going to do my KCP, this is when I was told that he has committed suicide. He was found somewhere hanging on the tree. From 2003, he got lost. Coming back, I can barely say that we received Daddy when he was dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's well. And now, after this incident, your siblings, okay, how did it continue now through high school with all this burden now?
Okay, after the decease of my daddy, we buried him with a lot of challenge. That time there was not e-chama ya mazishi and what have you, so we tried to write some letters and tunaenda kwa boma tukiomba watu watupatie pesa so that we can pay the mortuary bill for daddy and we can bury him. And then after the burial, okay, in a way, we buried the daddy and life had to continue in one way or the other. So it was now after I'm done with KCP and we are anxiously waiting for the result. This is whereby there was a friend of mine by name Madam Kiura. She was working in Kirima Secondary by then under the BOM, and she used to love me, and I got a good intimacy with the son that I was taking care of after the KCP. In the process now, children were to join school, that is Form 1 on March 2008, and I had no one to take me to school. But when Miss Kiora found that I'm just in the house doing the house chores for her, she felt, no, this girl should go back to school, because I had passed well and I got good marks. Miss Kiora felt, no, this girl should go back to school, and she went to school and spoke with the BOM and the principal and Orafiu. I thank God for the principal of the day, that is Henry Nyaga, who really supported my schooling. And in the process, Miss Kiora went and I joined Form 1. How did I join Form 1? Miss Kiora told me that he has some few cashes that she would pay the school fees for me. But by then, I had no uniform. So my mommy had to take care of the school uniform, take care of the shoes and what have you. But by the time I got the letter and I was to join the Form 1, mommy had nothing. And I remember that time she had not even come back home. She was drunk in a way, and she had not come home that evening. So I had to go to a neighboring home, whereby I knew a friend who was in a school that was wearing the same uniform that I would join Form 1 with. And I went to their home and I called the mother and I spoke to the mother and I told her to share me the uniform that our daughter was schooling with. And she gave me uniform, she gave me a skirt. Then there was no blouse, because they are wearing a different blouse than ours. So I had to go to another homestand and borrow a blouse, and that's how I got now my school uniform. Then I had a black rubber shoes that I had to wear and go with it to school. Then socks was 50 bob, though it was not hard for me and to borrow somebody 50 shillings to buy uniform. So as Miss Kiola was concerned with the school fees, even me, I was not just there waiting for things to happen. I had to make things happen. So I had to go and borrow some uniform, and when she came in the evening, I told her, I have uniform and this is what I have for school. So in the process, God came through. I don't know what happened when mommy heard that I was going to school. There was some cashes she had to maneuver from some corners, and she when I joined school now later, this is whereby she intervened and she bought me a good sweater and a leather shoe for school. And that's how I was able to go to Form 1. Joining Form 1, I joined later when other Form 1s had already joined, and I stayed I went, children were almost doing the midterm exam, and I had to strive, write note, I had to cram things now so that I can be in the level of those pupils. And now in the process, here is whereby now it was second term. And fee is now becoming a problem. Whoever was to support me, somehow she was really also straining because she was under the employment of the BOM. And then mom is not worried about what is going on. No one is there to support me, no uncle, no auntie. No one would see there is anything good in me, but there was still God. So in Form 1, that is second term, I dropped out of the school. This is what's after I was sent home for money, and there was no hope for me. So what did I decide? I decided to go to a friend to look for job, and immediately I packed on a Sunday and I left home. I went to this friend of mine in Embu, whereby I was employed as a house manager, and I started working. Little did I know what the future was holding for me, because when I went on Sunday, I began work on Monday. Then on Wednesday, the school BOM, the church members, my pastor, some elders of the church, and the very, very, very own Lorna came again. She came now, she and this battalion and these people, those good people who came now for me, all the way from Mbere now to Embu. And they told me, no, you have to go back to school. This is not your work. And I was like, no, me, I cannot go back again, because I looked at the background. Now you want to pay for me the school fees.
Struggle itself.
Yeah, well and good. You, as much as you want to pay the school fees for me, but where am I going to eat? What is the way forward now when I get back home? Then there was fear for mommy, now that I had escaped from home. So I feared what will be of mommy, and I felt, no, this is not the way to go, and I refused. So I shared with Madam Lorna, and I told her that just allow me not to go. And if I happen to go back to school, kindly, can you look for a way that we can find a high school here in Embu that I can continue? And I was willing. But Lorna was like, no, if you're fearing home, I'm going with you to my home. And I saw this is a miracle. Coming now from our home to a good home, because she's well up. She's a person with things. She's well. So I felt sasa hapa, mambo imekuwa mzuri, and there is no struggling. There is 3 meals a day, and I felt, no, hapa sasa ninafaa kwenda. Tena wakati kama huo, being in a teacher's home, it's out good. Si kama wakati wetu watoto wametoshana na wanajimu, unaelewa. Yeah, so upon it, I had to we had some agreement with the church members and all a few, and Rona agreed to go with me at a place, and that would happen immediately after the discussion, after prayers, and after everything. We had to alight the bus or the vehicle that had come for me, and we went, and that's how now I went back to school.
Wow.
That is in Form 1.
So now you staying with this friend, okay, now she's a guardian, by the way, because for me now I'm beginning to see she was God sent.
Very
because
God
she
sent.
really came through for you, and ni ile achoki
Kabisa.
So now when you are staying here,
Yeah.
uliendelea sasa like the entire secondary education ulisoma when you are staying in her place?
Yeah, in Form 1, that is second term and third term, I was in a place, and nikakaa pale Form 1 and Form 2. Then I remember now I'm growing and I'm becoming a bit mischievous, and I want to try this and I want to try this. And then she was a no-nonsense woman. So singefit pale sana sababu ya tabia zangu. So in the process nilijipata mimi nimetoroka na nikarudi nyumbani tena. Nimerudi nyumbani kwa nini? I need freedom. And not that I was not getting freedom from my family, but there was that fear of this parent, a teacher, and all a few, na sitaki kumkosea. So because ninasikia niko na tumakosa kidogo kidogo, I would rush home back again. And then I wanted freedom ya kwenda nikitembea, nikizurura, because ilikuwa ni habit, nilikuwa nimeanza nikuwa mdogo. So umekuja umenifungia kwa nyumba, and I'm not used to this. So in Form 2, luckily in Form 2 nilitoka kwake na nikarudi nyumbani kidogo, of which sasa nilikaa nyumbani for like 2 weeks, and things were not good because again the struggles were still there. So nikatoka kwake. In the process, in Form 2 I had a friend who was teaching us the life skills, anaitwa Felista. So nilitoka kwetu nikaenda kwa kina Felista. By this time Felista was not that much age, tulikuwa tumeachana na gap kidogo sana, though alikuwa amesoma na kamaliza shule. So I felt I'm so much secure in her hands, and I felt good with her. So hapo ndio nilitoka kwetu nikahama, nikaenda kwa kina Felista. But it was not easy. Mommy was so much harsh. Mommy is not a woman to put a finger on. She is not that easy to deal with, but she's the best of us. So nikaenda kwa kina Felista nikasoma form 2, form 3, form 4. So nikikuja kufanya KCP the last week ya kukuja kufanya KCSE nao ndio niliomba kurudi kwa Madam Jeru tena because now the distance was a bit long, but it was not easy kumalizia hiyo form 3 and form 4. Kulikuwa na zile masahibu, hii inatokea na hii inatokea, but ndio ninakumbukanga when I was in form 4 I remember kuna keo ilitokea hapo shule tukakosana na mwalimu. And kwa nini tulikosana na mwalimu? Tulikosana na mwalimu in our class tulikuwa saras wengi, tulikuwa sara 3. So yule kijana alitumwa kuja itane, hakuspecify anaita sara nani. And then there was this spirit yenye iliua baba yangu who committed suicide later, as I was saying. Ilikuwa inaniandama and I felt like life is too hard for me. All that I deserve or solution of everything is to die. I will tell my listeners there, all my viewers, that I'm a victim of suicide. I've tried suicidal cases 3 times na zimefail. By the way, ile mimi maisha uishi si yangu, mimi usema ni ya Mungu, because mimi yangu nilichukua kamba kitambo na nikaweka. So anytime this time tumekosana na mwalimu form 3, nika feel hapana, this is too much for me. The rejection was high and no one needed me. Remember now there is no love that I've experienced from the maternal, from the guardians around. No one is filling the gap yenye iliacho after everything changed. So nilifeel always alone, nilifeel always niko pale peke yangu and life was not easy. So anything that would bring a solution to a problem kwangu ilikuwa ni kifo. So I tried as much as I can mimi nikufe niachane. Kumbe nayo kifo haikuwa inanihitaji, ilikuwa inanikataa kabisa. Kumbe rejection was too high to a point hata kifo inani reject. Because I tried. Nikajaribu nikachukua kamba in form 4 na ikakataa. So hiyo time nimechukua kamba nimepitia unaona ile tu you feel like people have done. I felt like let me go and say thank you to those people. So in the process ninapitia kwa Madam Jero, I found daddy there and I had to tell him to tell mommy thank you for anything that she has done for me, and I looked so much disturbed. So daddy called mommy akamwambia ebu tokea shule because now where mom was working is near the home. Tokea shule msichana wako naona akiwa stressed, I don't know what is happening. So mimi nikatoka na nikachukua kamba yangu and I'm going. Na feel wacha nikimbie kwa kina Feli nimwambie what is happening. Nimwambie hata mimi mahali nimefika nafikiria kukufa. So in the process mommy was coming and daddy was coming. So mahali tulienda kukutana mimi na kamba yangu wakakata kamba and I was like what are these people doing? Me I desire to die. Why do you want me and the way I'm struggling and no one is feeling? No one is understanding me. No one is even getting the feel of what I'm feeling. And I was like, no, I need to die. So anytime they come and they would block me from dying, I would see demons. I would see these devils hawajui vile wanafanya, but I didn't know they were used by God to save my life. Wow. Yeah, it has not been easy.
Now sasa form 4 umemaliza.
In the process okay, after sasa nimetaka kukufa mtihani kiendelea. That was not after first week ya kufanya mtihani. So it was on a Friday, wakakata nikufe, there was prayers and wakakata nikufe. Hao watu walikataa kabisa nikufe because walikataa na kamba. And then sasa vile wamekataa na kamba, wamekata kamba, wameninyang'anya, and mommy took me home. And then there was my pastor and some elders of the church wakakuja sasa kwa mama after hearing the news. So kukuja, they prayed for me and they delivered me. By the way, they knew it was a spirit that was following me yenye iliua baba yetu. Remember wamechoma nyumba kwanza. So daddy wanted us to kufie pale and hakuna kitu inaendelea. Then again this spirit is coming ndio imekula baba yangu. Baba yangu amejinyonga na amekufa. Then here is me who is coming. And when now that I'm grown nimekuja kurealize it always follows the stars. Yule mtu atainua mahali ndio anapambanwa na yeye. And that's why I think they are following me. So wakakuja wakaniombea, they delivered me and I was to go back to school. So I was to go back to school on Monday and continue with the exam. Ile tu bado spirit nikiwa form 4 nikikuja kumaliza yenye sasa imekataa nikufe. Sasa mimi nimekosa kukufa. Sasa ilitaka nikufe na sijakufa. That's what came through. And my sister also committed suicide. So she died and then it is from then I realized things are not working. So mimi vile nimemaliza form 4 I thought now things would work and now I'm grown, niko na certificate zangu, nimepita kabisa, by the way I passed. Nikajua sasa maisha itakuwa mzuri, but it wasn't so. Still things had not unfolded. Mambo haikuwa imeisha hata saa hii. I may feel that things are good and things are better because I'm not where I used to be. But still every level has its demon, every level has its devil, and all we need is the grace of God to study it all. Yeah, so after form 4 nimemaliza. In the process I've lost my sister, so I'm home. Ni mimi huyo ninaanzana na kufanya computer and what have you. So in the process things are not adding up. My sister amepass na ameacha mtoto mdogo, so it's us to take care of mtoto. Then my mommy responsibility here is not meeting all our needs because of the poverty, because of the level that we are. And again, remember, she's depressed. As much as she's willing, ataenda kuchota maji huko auzie watu atulete, it is not enough for us. Then sisi ni wengi. Kwetu sisi ni wengi. We are 9 in number, and I was telling my mommy the other day, she's just a humorless woman. Nikamuuliza siku ingine hapo, yani wewe ulikuwa umeamua kabisa mpaka tukue dasan, I don't know what happened. So in the process, but I thank God. We are many, but in the process of the family building up and the family catch up, God gave me, and God spotted me and made me the David of the family. Wow. And I thank God for that. Yeah.
Wow. This is beautiful. Na sasa you've completed form 4.
Yeah.
Sasa you need at least to either work or go to college.
Yeah.
Because this is now you are still a young girl,
yeah,
with a big dream.
Yeah.
And you feel that sasa wewe ndio Joshua. Hii familia wewe ndio utakomboa. So how did it go now when you are going to college and all that?
Okay, after form 4 and there was now elections. So I was just hired, or let me say we did the interviews, and I got a position in clerk, and I worked. Here is where now my dream now was able to open up well. So I worked for the government as a clerk in the election, and then I got some money. And then this money was not also enough to take me to college. Yes. And because it was not enough, and I always tell people, kama pesa itoshi, we kula hiyo pesa, sababu haingetosha. So the money was not enough for me. So what I did, I ate the money. How did I eat the money? Okay, when I finished form 4, yule msichana amenifuata, okay, my sibling mwenye amenifuata alikuwa na join form 1. So I had to support form 1 entry. Number 2, nyumbani kwetu hakukuwa na vitu, so you had to kurestore, kununua tu vitu.
Pesa iko lakini mahitaji ni mingi.
Pesa iko na ya college hata itoshi. So what do I do? Hata nikijaribu kuingia nayo college, it cannot take me anywhere. So mimi nikaamua tu hii mahitaji vile imekuwa mingi, wacha nitumie ile pesa vile inatakikana. So I supported sis to school, then I bought some. Sikukuwa na nguo, na sasa nimepata pesa yangu for the first time. So si ni kununua nguo, kusupport nyumbani, kununulia watu vitu nyumbani, and then sikukuwa na ile wisdom ya can you save and earn for the next year. And I was like, nikatumia pesa yangu na ikaisha hivyo. But in the process ya kutumia kazi, I got a friend who wanted me to continue with the college. Na kanipeleka KMTC Nyeri na nikaanza kusoma. So nilisoma pale kwa process ya kusoma vile nimeingia KMTC Nyeri, nikasoma first term, trimester na nini. And then this friend of mine, I will not mention his name because of public demand and what have you, allow me not to mention him. Akafika mahali akaona, this girl is doing well, this girl anaendelea vizuri. And by that time sasa vile nimeenda Nyeri, nimejua kuoga, nimejua kujipaka mafuta, nimeinteract na watu wa kutoka nje. So I felt like sasa nimeanza kukua beautiful. Despite that you're seeing me black today, my friend, I was black than that, but I thank God. So kutoka pale nimeanza kuoga, nimeanza kujua kupaka mafuta, and my friend this girl is becoming beautiful. So one day when I was to open now at the second term for school, I feel no, something must be done towards me and this girl. And he told me, scrap my back as I scratch yours. And I'm like, hiyo ni yetu, wacha tuendelee na story. So it didn't happen. So I had to cut it off, and nikasema no. So it was in the process tuli argue na ikakuwa sasa kama nitakulipia school fees lazima ulale na mimi. Nikasema no, nilale na wewe. Hii kitu imesumbua kwetu nyumbani, hii kitu ndio imesumbua like everybody in the home. Sijaifanya hata wakati nilikuwa kwa street. Then I used to have this fear for nikilala na mwanaume mimi nitapata mimba. Then hii mimba nitapelekea mama yangu kweli. What am I going to do?
Shida iko nyumbani.
Na ile shida iko nyumbani, hata mimi mwenyewe ni kama nimeandikwa hiyo shida, because I thought like I was smelling that poverty at home, because it was so dark for us. There was no light at the tunnel at the end of it all. Sasa huyu mzee mimi nikaona hapana, I'm not going to do it, na nikaachana nayo, na in the process ya talk na nini and he felt like he would sleep with me, mimi nikatoroka. Hapo ndo nilitorokea and I went to Meru na nikajificha, and I got lost for like 2 years. No one knows me where I am. Hakuna mtu anajua kupiga simu kwangu nyumbani, and I would not come home. So in the process mimi nimetorokea Meru. Home they are still suffering. Si ati mambo imebadilika, safari ni ile na hali ni ile. Mimi nimetorokea Meru, and that's even nililad kwa mikono ya one of a good friend of mine anaitwa Evangelist Justa. Nikakaa kwake nikafanya kazi kama house girl tena. I shared the story with her and we prayed a lot, and then he tried to cancel me ndio ni heal ile kitu ya what was to happen. Then in the process nimefanya kazi kwake ya take watoto shule. Nikiwapeleka shule ninaona watu wakiteremka job wakienda kitu saa 2, and I was telling God, I was always talking. I was always telling God, and I would tell somebody outside there, what you confess, you possess it. So I used to tell God, ninatakata mimi siku moja nijione ninatoka kwa nyumba saa 2 nikienda kazi. Si ati ninatoka kwa nyumba napeleka mtoto shule na narudi kwa nyumba, ati the house is my office. I kept on saying it, and ilikuwa ni kama it was a wish that God has really made my expectation not be cut off. At least it has come to pass, and I thank God for what he has done in my life. So vile ndivyo maisha ilianza Meru. Nimeachana na nursing na nikaingia Meru, nikakuwa house girl for 3 to 4 years. In the process pale nikiwa house girl bado sasa nikaanza sasa kuconnect after 2 years. Nimeanza kuconnect nyumbani. My siblings would share with me what is happening. I would come home once in a blue moon, say hi to them, fight situation haijabadilika, and I really hated home. Mpaka nilikuwa nafika mahali nikisikia nitaenda nyumbani juu huyu mama lazima sasa akuwe baraka kwangu na nataka nifike nyumbani. I would feel like mama anasema nitaenda nyumbani holiday na fast. I would fast really fast kabisa, ile ya nipate amani nyumbani na nipate the breakthrough to go home, my real home. It wasn't easy for me. In the process nikiwa pale tukaendelea then the husband of Evangelist Justa thought of a college somewhere. Akaniambia na si ujaribu Sara kufanya school based. That's how now I enrolled to teachers college. Nikaingia nikasoma school based. So what I used to do, nafanyia kazi tamli, alafu watoto wakifunga shule mimi ninaingia kusoma. And that's how I managed to get a diploma in education, which I thank God for. Then after kumaliza shule nikapata sasa nimepata kazi shule mahali. Then now because home things were not still working, and I had that big heart. Still today it's there for my siblings. I would go home now na nikachukua watoto wetu na nikaingia na wao Meru. I remember I took my sister when she was in class 4. I took my brother when she was in class 2. And then sasa kwa kasista ketu kadogo nikamchukua akiwa class 5. Na wakaanza kusomea ile shule nilikuwa nasoma. Today as I speak to us, ile pesa kidogo tu nilikuwa napata ndio nilikuwa nalipia hao watoto school fees nayo. Then in the process God gave me the gift of preaching. I started preaching. Ni realize in the process God has called me to be a preacher, na nikaanza kuhubiri sasa katikati ya pale. So I would go preach, come home, mtu angenibaia maji sababu nimehubiri. And this is what we used to share with my brothers and sisters in my house. Tukakaa na wao, tumekaa Meru for 8 years. My brother today is in form 4, my sister is in form 4, and I thank God from the dust God has lifted us, ametuweka mahali.
Wow. You know, now I see the light already, because now you've become a blessing to your siblings. Yeah. And the struggle you went through, you've managed to even give them the education that you really struggled hard to get. Sure. So currently, how now is the situation with you, the healing after hizo vitu zote, the ministry juu sasa hapa, hey, anointing niliwaambia iko juu. Now how has it been since now sasa kwa mambo ya church, you are uko pale kwa church, ministry is calling, school is calling, home nayo ndio ile.
Okay, in every situation and in every season I thank God. In every session of my life it is God. I'll just say it is God. Okay, apart from now my education life now, na nimefika mahali nimeingia college, nimefanya diploma na nimekuwa mwalimu. There was these things also that was calling me, that God was preparing me in the wilderness. Zile za unapitia hii ngumu ndio uweze kuinuka mahali. Nikakosa chakula ndio nikipata mtu kwa huduma hajakula, I will know how to handle that. So it was in the process. Now here comes now the calling. It was beckoning me, beckoning me, and I was feeling I'm called to preach. I started as a Sunday school teacher, and I thank God for a great man of God, a man of faith called Pastor Joseph Njagi of Christian Center Nganduri. This man has really mentored me. Akanichukua pale nikuwa mwalimu wa Sunday school, nikainuka. Then he would give us Sundays, we would preach there, we would go outside there, and other mentors that came through for me. I remember Pastor Sige from all the way to Addis Ababa. She also supported my ministry when I was in Meru. Now I realized there is a dream in me. There is a gift of preaching in me. Wakainacha, wakanipatia that platform to preach the word of God, and they have really supported me. So nikahubiri, nikaanza kuingia, then I got some other pastors who came through. I remember Bishop Mogambi came through for me of J-Top Makutano Meru. I remember Pastor Isaac came through for me. Ni wachungaji wengi ambao ninaheshimu sana. Walishika mkono, walinishika vizuri sana, and then I used to sit under the anointing. One thing I always tell people, the anointing that you despise will never work for you. But me, I used to tap them. I would take their gospel yenye wamehubiri a certain Sunday and go to a certain place and preach. Then in the process nikaingia kwa mentorship ya student in high schools. Nimehubiri huko ndani, nimeingilia, I've touched children lives, I've touched these girls and boys, and God has exploded himself in me. His presence has always been working with me. So in the process of preaching, ikafika mahali and God felt, no, I still need to do something with you. Kukakuwa sasa na another calling, and I felt like God is really telling me and pushing me to the ministry. Na dadi, huyu Pastor Njage, akakuwa anani involve on much preaching. So it was in the process now whereby Pastor Kaimenyi said that I need to go and do theology. Na nikapata barua ya kwenda theology. So the letter was there. I need to stop now schooling, niache kufunza na niingie nikasome theology. It was challenging because sasa vile ninarudi kusoma theology, it was a full-time course that now my sister and my brother would now staff because watalipiwa school fees na nani, watakula nini, what will happen. Good luck, me I will always say that everything happens for good. Here comes corona, whereby sasa hakuna shule na hakuna kwenda kusoma. So see, with corona mimi ndio nilienda kusoma theology. So kila mtu ametulia, and then there is Agape Christian University Matu. Wow. Sasa hapo ndio niliingia, Mungu akasema wacha nilete full stop kwa masomo kwanza, wewe uingie usome. That was during the period of corona, that is 2019 and 2020, nikaingia nikasoma theology na nikamaliza. I was well equipped, I passed, I got a good class honor, na nashukuru Mungu. So it was in the process sasa nikaanza kuingia kwa huduma. So in the ministry it has not been easy. It is also challenging because we fight with people who will always belittle you. Wataona hakuna kitu mzuri inaweza toka kwako. Remember Nathaniel telling Jesus, what do you think good can come from Nazareth? But people don't know. It's only God who knows. Ni nakumbukanga sana when David was called by God. Samuel akitumwa kwa Jesse, alienda akaangalia watu wengi sana na akaona their physical appearance and the standard, but that was not the need of God. God needed huyo shepherd ananuka kodoo huko. So it was me, I always tell myself, I'm one of the people watu wanaweza ona like I'm very small, I'm a tender person, you have not reached these levels, lakini the grace of God in me has really carried me through. It has been enough, it has been sufficient na imenibeba. So it has been challenging. Sometimes watu wanakuhumiliate, sometimes people would feel, nani sasa amekupatia hii call, umerealize aje Mungu amekuita uende ukahubiri, why are you doing theology, mbona una drop out teaching? And then me, I was telling myself, I'm not dropping out the teaching, because Paul, when you remember Apostle Paul was a tent maker. Alikuwa anahubiri, preaching to the Gentiles about the resurrection of Jesus, and yet he was a tent maker. He would go at this time, anatengeneza tent, anauza, na bado injili inaendelea. Mimi nikajiambia, because God has called and confirmed it to me, let me go do theology, then I shall do it. Kama ni kuhubiri, party time I'll do. And I thank God for my course. Education is the best course that will always give you the freedom. Friday, Saturday and Sunday I'm free. Evenings I'm free. So I can do fellowships, I can go preach to people. Na hiyo tu bado mimi ninafunza na nina earn pesa. Because now I don't believe to be a pastor who will always depend on people. As a pastor who will always give to people. I need to be that person. Instead of taking from people, I want to be a blessing to people. Let my ministry be a call that will bring many to Jesus. Nikipatana na mtu ni maskini mahali, instead of them giving to me the sacrifices and bringing at some tithe ati ndio maisha yao iokolewe, let me be a part of a blessing to them. And that's how I've used to serve. The ministry has not been easy, but in the process of the ministry I've been asking God to give me a prayer partner who will hold me, mwenye sasa atanishikiria na tusimame. And God hears our prayer. How much it would take long, it may tarry, but one time it will come to pass. In the ministry nimengangana nikasikia like education is really overwhelming me, sababu ninatakikana class, boma fulani inanihitaji, kazi inanihitaji, huduma fulani inanihitaji, but God has been giving me grace. Amenipatia job ambayo haijani stress hata kidogo. There is peace in job. I'm earning, whatever I'm earning is supporting me to go for ministry outside there. Then I have a good friend of mine, sasa mwenye tumebebana vizuri, like I was telling some people, kuna mahali ilifika God akasema set me apart, Barnabas and Paul. Alitaka watu wawili ndio work together. Tumekuwa na slogan yetu tu better than one. Why? Because one will chase 1,000, but now tukiwa wawili 10,000 will free away. Then here comes Minister Lucy. Minister Lucy is a lady from Mashanga who has really been a confidant to my heart. I just met her in the professional department, tukiwa huko kwa field tukifunza, and once she came to my life, there was that now love. A person was really filled the gap that has been in my life. Now with her, I think I've never known what stress is. With her I've known love, with her I've known peace, with her I've known now there are things that we can call miracles and they happen. Yeah, that's how life is going, and until now hapo ndio tumefika sasa.
Destiny connectors,
I tell you.
Okay, the journey has been really, really tough.
Sure.
And you, by the way, if there is something you have noticed, my people, it's that Sarah is talking about the God. God will come through. God will come through. It can only be God, by the way.
Sure.
What God cannot do does not exist.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So I would wish you to, as even we come to an end of this, tukimalizia yani,
Okay.
I want you to speak to this. Unajua, we have a generation that needs to be mentored. I want you to speak to those people. Wapatie tu last shot, encourage.
Okay, one thing I will tell us within the prevalent occurrences of our nation today and our world today, things are looking like they are not making up. And somebody is feeling like, okay, we are in a generation, I will not blame my generation today. I'll blame those people that came before us, because we don't have models, we don't have mentors, we don't have people who can mentor us. Because wakati tunajaribu kuinuka unapata umegongwa na mtu. Somebody is trying to bring to you the feeling, mimi na feel hivi, naona hivi. Instead of you encouraging that person and studying with her, you guys people, you are just throwing us away, and then we are becoming the topic of the village. Then you're challenging us. Unafika pale, unafika mtu anakuuliza, now that you are 27, what are you waiting for? You people, you're really discouraging us. So, but that will not bring us down. I will encourage somebody there outside who is really striving with life. Na mwenye anaona ni kama maisha imefika mwisho. Wewe huwezi jua kufika mwisho. Just ask me, I'll tell you. Wakati nilifika mwisho nichukue kamba niweke kwa shingo, I know what it takes. But who is like God? Hiyo time una feel like umefika mwisho kabisa. So just seek God. Ambia tu God, sababu anaona. He tells us even before we call, he knows. Anything that you want to succeed in life is all about God. Then I'll also talk about speaking out. Speaking out really help us. Mimi imenisaidia sana kuenda kwa kifua ninalilia na ninaambia mtu. Well, it not for that I got people who stood with me. Let me tell you, I could not be where I am. God will always use people that will lift you and propel you to your destiny. And again, devil will use people. Sasa ni lazima uangalie huyu anatumika na nani. Devil will always use people wenye watakuja waku discourage. But I'll tell somebody, si tukwetu kama Bartimaeus. Bartimaeus was bride. Na hakuwa anaona, lakini alikuwa na masikio. Hii masikio yake ilimsaidia. So you might not be having what you need for now, but there is something that you can do that will bring a difference to you. But Myers alifika mahali anauliza watu kwani ni nini inaendelea sababu sioni. Then he was told that Jesus is passing. And these people wenye walikuwa wanaishi na Yesu, walikuwa wanajua kabisa Jesus heals, but they would not bring Myers to Jesus apone. Apone. People are like that, and people will always be people. Kuna wale wataku encourage and kuna wale wako pale wamejipatia kazi ya kuleta watu chini kabisa na kukudhihaki kabisa. Lakini Bartimaeus alinyamaza akasema, no, hata kama hamtaki kuniona, hata kama mnataka kuniacha hivyo, leo sitaki pesa, I need Jesus. And he shouted more longer. Akaitana na Yesu alirudi. Wale watu walimdharau ndio walirudi kukuja kumuokota kumwambia Yesu wako pale. So in our state of feeling discouraged, let's not even wacha tusinasi your problem. Wacha tusifike mahali tuone we cannot make it. Let's go and find somebody who is doing better than us. Let's go and speak out there. Let's ablaze our dream. And I am sure in the process of ablazing our dream, God will come through. These 4 lepers in 2 Kings chapter 7 walisema sisi hatutakaa hapa tukufe. So hata wewe usikae pale na hiyo shida yako ati unafikiria kukunywa dawa saa hii. Death is not the solution. The solution is how are you going to handle what is happening. The solution is on your knees. Piga magoti. Ambia tu Mungu unaelewa shida zangu. Ambia Mungu akutumie mtu ambaye atasimama na wewe. And I'm definitely sure that your life will change. You'll be better. You may be better even than us. Sisi we strived but in the process we made it. So I'll just tell somebody, embrace the season. Kuna wakati wa kukosa na kuna wakati wa kupata. Whatever season comes in your life, embrace it and know a season is coming that will change this one. It was my season to strive for hardness, pain, mistreatment, rejection. But today, me have seen people coming for me. I've seen people telling me we need your God. And to make you understand this better, see this Sister Mercy all the way from Nairobi. Anaingia kwangu mashanga. How now? God will send you. Mpaka ukue persistence. Na uweke that the consistent that God is there and God will do something. Wewe usikufe moyo by the condition. You might not be having parent. You might not be having education. Uko pale umengangana as a house girl and things are not working. I'm here to assure you things must change because our God liveth. So take the challenge with you. Ngangana nayo, involve God, try speak out to people, let people share with you what they are going through, and I'm telling you, within a short period of time, you'll make it. And every success has a story. Every glory has a history. So let's focus on God, and I'm sure we will make it. Don't keep quiet. Don't dare keep quiet. Don't drink that dawa umetengeneza. Don't commit suicide. No, suicide is not our way. And I'm praying anytime you feel like committing suicide. Wacha kifo ikukataa vile nikataa bana.
Well, at the feet of Jesus there is victory.
Yeah, there is.
Yes. So nakwambia hapa ni slaying and praying.
I tell you.
Wow, Aki, I'm amazed and so much encouraged.
It is God.
You know, it's us, not even my people, only even me. I learned through all these things. It's I'm happy that you even spoke to us.
Yeah.
We met my people. By the way, meeting her was really good. You know, I just talked to her and she told me, we just schedule the time na tupatane tu. So it's really good. And I know this will be an encouragement to so many people. So thank you so much, my dear.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much. So my people, let's keep subscribing. We are road to 2K. 2K inatuangalia tu hivi. Let's subscribe, like, comment and share, and see you in the next video.